Dear friends of the Tom Photo channel and all Fuji users, I've gathered all lenses I use with my Fuji X-mount cameras together in one place to give you a comparative overview of my set. I've reviewed all of these lenses individually as well, and the links are below in the text box. Let's first do a quick round with pluses, minuses, and my overall opinion. The only virtual lens on the table is the XC50-230. I sold it recently not because it's not great, but because the other next lens on the table can do the same and more, and I decided to free some resources for my next purchases. The main plus is that it has the longest telephoto and largest focal range at a good price. A small maximal aperture and plastic mount would be its main downsides. The XF55-200 normally resides in front of my XT30. Superb image quality and great build with a powerful image stabilization. At 200mm the f-stop can only be 4.8, so it works for wildlife in bright conditions. Otherwise, I use it for distant landscapes. This lens is kind of expensive. The XF18-55 is a legend in the kit lens world, a must-have for Fuji users. Somewhat brighter than competition, going down to f2.8 at the widest angle, and quite a bit better built, optically incredibly accurate. I have only good things to say, and this is why I own 2 copies of it. The other one is currently filming this video. The XC15-45 is the widest angle of all my lenses. This is my favorite travel lens for its size and sharpness. This tiny guy is also very nice for videography. It gets a lot of use from me. I sold it once but then bought it back. That says it all. On the negative side, its built-in motor is not too convenient to operate. The XC16-50 is an early kit lens from Fuji. Small, light, affordable, and capable. Works best with the early models of Fuji hybrid cameras. This lens gets the least use from me because the previous one steals its niche. While nice and sharp, it's perhaps the least sharp of my Fuji lenses. The XF35 Prime is a legend. Its wonderful high-quality retro output is unparalleled. I use it mostly for video because it can go down to f1.4. This alone explains why I love this lens. Although an older lens, it's still expensive. Earlier version had a very loose aperture ring, but this was secretly fixed in the later years. The XF27 Prime is my latest addition and the smallest Fuji lens. If size matters, this should be your favorite lens. Sharp as a razor blade and quick as a gun. The 2 small problems I have is the filter size of 39mm and the minimal f-stop of 2.8. For a good bokeh, I'd like 1.8. And what are these, you're probably asking? Indeed, these 2 are Nikon lenses. I also use Nikon lenses with my Fujis thanks to an adapter. Fuji lenses are superb, but they are expensive. I'll produce special videos on the considerations related to mixing Fuji and Nikon. The Nikkar 50mm f1.8 prime lens is great for portraits and filming. I find it a bit less sharp than the Fujinon lenses, but it only adds to the character. It certainly is bright though. This Tamron 90mm f2.8 macro lens is also for Nikon. A very nice tool for photographing flowers or insects. It can also be used as a telephoto lens, and there you can benefit from its nice f-stop of 2.8, which of course is a function of how close you are to the subject. Now I'm going to assume that I am you, and I'm going to ask myself some questions for you and then answer them. Weird, right? Question 1. Do you feel your collection is complete? What is missing? Thanks for asking. I'm not currently missing much. If I find another lens at a fair price, I always consider acquiring it. Maybe a really wide-open, wide-angle lens would top my list right now. Question 2. If you had to sell 2 lenses, which ones would they be? All lenses are quite dear to me, and I had to think hard. I think the first one out would be the XC16-50, because the XC15-45 competes too well with it. Secondly, the 27mm prime perhaps, because the 27mm is not a common focal length for me, and I'd like this lens to be more wide open. I'd sell most of my Nikon lenses before the Fuji ones. Question 3. Which lenses you will not sell no matter what? This list is long. The XF18-55 and the XF35 prime are the dearest to me perhaps. I'm a fan of zoom lenses too, and the 18-55 is near flawless. The XF35 with its f-stop 1.4 is a lens that the others cannot replace. Question 4. Can you film at the cinematic f-stop of 2.8 through various focal lengths? Yes, and this is where the Nikon lenses come in to help. When I want to film at f2.8, I can use 5 lenses. The XF18-55 can do it at 18mm. The XF27 does it at 27mm. The XF35 does it at 35mm. The Nikkar 50 will cover the 50mm, and the Tamron macro lens will let me do it at 90mm focal length. Now you see why I mostly need these Nikon lenses in front of my Fujis. Question 5. What do you like most about Fuji lenses? Their incredible sharpness. Whether it's a prime or a zoom lens, Fuji tends to be class leading. I also like how they're built. Question 6. What you don't like about Fuji lenses? Price. They're kind of expensive. If you have more questions about these lenses, please drop me a line in the comments. I always love to hear from you, and I do my best to answer your questions quickly. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. If you consider subscribing to my channel and/or pressing the like button, I'd be very thankful. I wish you happy photography. Till the next time, bye.